Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, Shinrin Yoku, and Yurt Life, bringing you a grand solar minimum. Update Saturday, October 7th, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 2023. Afghanistan earthquake. At least 120 killed, thousands injured in a 6.3 earthquake in western Afghanistan. And Kīlauea volcano is producing over 320 earthquakes in 24 hours. Keep calm, it's boom time. More heavy rain is on the way for the Northeast on Saturday, threatening New York City with flooding, as remnants of Tropical Storm Philippe will impact Maine with heavy rain. It's insane. The post-tropical cyclone is expected to move over portions of Atlantic Canada and New England this weekend. Interests in those areas should be prepared for the possibility of strong winds, heavy rainfall, and monitor statements from their local weather office. It looks like this baby is still going to bomb out here sometime on Sunday and make its way into interior Canada, where on the backside there will be a massive snow presence. Let's take a look at the total accumulated snowfall. And you can see areas of over 30 inches now coming in, 28 potentially there in areas of Ontario and Quebec. Heavy rain and gusty winds in New England and the Northeast. Fire weather threats across the South. Heavy rain, flooding, and gusty winds are expected in parts of New England and the Northeast from the arrival of a cold front and the remnants of Philippe. Widespread red flag warnings in effect across the South for critical fire weather conditions due to dry conditions and gusty winds. Take a look at all the warnings and watches. Click on your county for more info. India flash flooding death toll climbs after a glacial lake burst. We reported on this just the other night. Now the death toll rising to at least 47 this weekend after more bodies were recovered, with at least 150 still missing. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the affected. Hawaii's rumbling Kīlauea volcano produced over 320 volcanoes in just 24 hours, according to officials. Most of the earthquakes came from the ongoing seismic swarm in a region south of Kīlauea's summit caldera at depths of 2 miles beneath the surface. Officials said significant hazards remained around the main crater wall, with instability, ground cracking, and rock falls. So heed the warnings and stay away from Kīlauea. Afghanistan earthquake, at least 120 killed and 1,000 injured. Hundreds of people are feared death and at least 1,000 injured after a powerful earthquake hit western Afghanistan near the Iranian border. The 6.3 magnitude quake struck 40 kilometers from the western city of Herat at around 11 local time. Many buildings were damaged, trapping people under rubble, and there were at least 3 powerful aftershocks, adding insult to injury. Survivors described their terror as office buildings first shook and then collapsed around them. I'm sure we're going to be getting many pictures coming in from the quake zone. And here we can see some footage over at Twitter on some of that devastation. Completely collapsed buildings. I guess people going through the rubble here in hopes of finding proof of life. And that's basically what's happening in the hardest hit regions. We do have this footage of the people moving to the streets, panicking, with some terrible video photography there. Let's see what's happening here. Clearly no one knows how to use a camera in this region of the world. Multiple earthquakes, and yeah, you could check us over at our Twitter to see more of the footage as the footage is coming in live of the deadly 6.3 earthquake in Afghanistan. Seismic update. Here we can see that quake by Iran, and there have been multiple aftershocks. So there is the main quake at 6.3. This aftershock here, also 6.3. So 2 6.3s, making this even more deadly. A 5.9 and a 5.5 aftershock in Afghanistan. Not the only big quake. We do have a big quake here in Papua New Guinea. It was offshore at 6.9. There is no tsunami warning, and then an onshore aftershock of 6.7. No reports of any injuries coming out from that one, which is good news. We also have a 5.9 happening in Mexico, and that covers most of the quakes of note. Ongoing seismic swarms still happening in Japan, albeit a slowdown in activity. There was a minor seismic swarm over the last 36 hours here on the Reykjanes Peninsula in Iceland, but that seems to have come to a close as well. As we take a look at the latest quakes near Campi Flegrei, as we are on close watch of this supervolcano, what we can see is that there have been one moderate quake at depth in the last 24 hours and just over a dozen quakes up here. Less activity than previous days. And we're keeping a close eye on any uptick that would suggest an imminent eruption at the supervolcano near Naples. Worldwide volcano news update. No other volcanic activity of note. Normal activity. Saba and Kaya to 20,000. Sangay to 28,000. Ubinus to 18,000. Fuego to 17. And so on and so forth. All the links will be below so you can peruse all of the information we're sharing with you today. We do have a G1 geomagnetic storm watch as of October 7th right now, so stay tuned for more updates if needed. But the sun's magnetic poles are now disappearing. We've been reporting on the solar polar reversal now for 3 months, and it appears that the sun is now losing its magnetic poles, signifying solar maximum for cycle 25, which would make it still one of the weakest cycles in some time, unless it pushes further. Recent measurements by NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory reveal a rapid weakening of the magnetic fields in the polar regions of the sun. Here are those solar polar fields reaching reversal, which would signify solar max and us entering back into solar minimum of cycle 25. Could happen as soon as a few months from now. Space weather news update. Small impulsive M flare here. Not noteworthy. Overall, for the last 3 days, the sun has been quiet. The latest HMI intensity showing just a few tiny pinprick sunspots peppering the disk. Nothing significant at solar max. The next geomagnetic storm maker could be this coronal hole number 58, which will be in geoeffective in maybe 4 or 5 days. So stay tuned for more updates. Now, in a first, astronomers directly imaged the cosmic web. You all may know the cosmic web as looking at something like more like this, but they actually imaged a portion of it. And it is coming from out of Caltech. What you should notice is these long lineaments or linear things here, thousands of light years long. Could they be Birkeland currents connecting everything in our universe? Well, there is no explanation using the standard model of what these features are. And Ransom Godwin and I dive deep into this topic over at Magnetic Reversal News in just about an hour. We have a great show coming up. Abu Huraira comet airburst 12,800 years ago, initiating agriculture. We talk about the solar polar field reversal. We talk about Vera pulsar pouring 200 times more energy than thought possible. Guess what? Scientists are baffled. And we also talk about potential discovery of dozens of objects beyond Pluto, which could reveal a new section of the solar system we never knew about. This is important because we already have the Oort cloud, the Kuiper belt, and there's our solar system in the planetary region. This is the source for objects that come in and disrupt our solar system periodically, well, causing cosmic catastrophes on regular periodicities, around every 2,000 years, in fact. And we'll be discussing that in just less than an hour over at Magnetic Reversal News, so come and join us. Common plastic additive linked to autism and ADHD, and it might even make you gay, according to scientists. The number of kids being diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, ASD, and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, has risen sharply in recent decades. And a new study points to the common plastic additive bisphenol A, or BPA, as the potential reason why.
If that's interesting to you, check out the article below. Elon Musk is under investigation by U.S. agency for his $44 billion takeover of Twitter. Well, we know that why they're investigating Elon Musk. He is fighting the cabal that has had a stranglehold on free speech for decades. And kudos to you, Elon. We're with you. And they're also coming for Cap Allen over at Electroverse, censoring him once again, as they did about a year ago, and removed all of his ads. So, sign of the times. And we are shadow banned as well, and that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video, as we are shadow banned and we need your help to grow. Become a Patreon, support the work we do, watch all of our content in one place, commercial free, and join us over at Magnetic Reversal News for Abu Hurairah, Comet Airburst 12,800 years ago, solar polar reversals, and a new Kuiper belt? Perhaps. And that's a boom. Be safe. We love you.